Hello, Cyril White, May 2nd, 2020, and I'm here in my barn gym Saturday, and I wanted to make this video because these are unprecedented times, and I just wanted to have a recording of kind of how I'm feeling, what's going on during these times. I've gone through a lot of changes. Everyone's going through tons of changes in this environment because it's unprecedented. The COVID coronavirus issue, where they've shut down all of our businesses and literally shut down most of the countries in the world. And so I wanted to just record something so I have a record of this I can go back to, or my children, daughters, or grandchildren can maybe watch and get a feel for how dad and husband and grandpa, what he was going through at this time and what he was feeling at this time, because they are really interesting times, and I've gone through a ton of changes in the last several weeks. Personally, all good, I feel, ironically, and I want to record that. So they shut our business down around, I think, March 15th, middle of March. It's currently May 2nd. They say that we won't be able to open at the earliest till May 28th, and I've been keeping up with all of our clients. We had about 110 when this all started, and we've lost about 12 so far, which in 6 weeks I think is phenomenal. Thanks to Strong Together HQ for putting a great hybrid online program together, and thanks to my team for continuing to engage our members and keep them engaged and keep them part of the community, which is so important in this time when we can't get 6 feet. We have to stay 6 feet apart, when we have to wear masks, when we have to not be around each other so that we don't transmit the virus and get more people sick. It's super important to have a strong community, and that's what we have in our Strong Together Fitness community, in our Strong Together Fitness Country Spirit CrossFit Chelsea community, and I'm super proud of that. Other gyms lost 50% of their members in the first couple days, and probably most of them in the next couple days or weeks. And we have continued to provide significant value, and people have just said, just having someone they know they can trust, that they trusted with their fitness and health, being there, watching their back, even if it's over the phone or email or text, is very important. I had to make a very difficult decision and go get another job, which I did at Lowe's as a delivery coordinator, and I've gone through 2 weeks there now. I just finished my second week, and I start at 5 in the morning and I end around 2 p.m. So that gives me the opportunity to continue to work my coaching and fitness and health business and my other structured settlement business, even though that's doing worse than any business right now because of the environment and interest rates. But I'm thankful to have 3 sources of income. Even though it doesn't add up to a lot, it's more than if I didn't have any of these sources. So super thankful for that, but I had to do something because I don't go on unemployment. I've never been on unemployment in 54 years, and I can work. I'm thankful for CrossFit and for keeping me fit for 54 years. Especially over the last 7 or 8 years since I discovered CrossFit. I would not be able to do my job at Lowe's if I wasn't in shape, and it's a physical job, and I wouldn't be able to do it at 54 years old. In your 20s and 30s, maybe without working out, sure, you're young, but not at 54, and I'm keeping up with guys half my age, and proud of it, and that's why it's super important to always, even if you don't know what the reason is, be in the best physical shape you can, be in the best mental shape you can, because you never know what's going to hit you in life, and how you'll have to use that, and how you'll need that to survive. I get up just after 3 a.m. because I don't like to rush, and I like to have some time in the morning to reflect and journal and meditate and eat. And so I've been pretty tired the last couple of weeks, but and I've really gained respect for all of our members that work a job 8 hours and then come to the gym and work out, because it's hard. I'm a morning workout person. I've been able to work out for the last 6 years anytime I've wanted to, because I own a gym, which is still challenging because of all the responsibilities that go along with that. But I was still disciplined enough to be able to get my workouts in every day, because I'm right there at the gym, and I'm a morning person, but now my mornings I'm at Lowe's. I've enjoyed the position at Lowe's so far. The people are great. They're super down to earth and friendly. And it really makes, in a weird way, it makes me feel really good to be doing what I'm doing. Helping people make their homes nicer, and I'm doing things I've never done before, which is super important to me. I'm learning retail and product distribution, and how to shrink wrap things, and how to put different products on a flatbed truck so they don't fall off. And the level of attention to detail, and wanting to do the best job possible, and really going all out for the customer, and things the customer's never going to see. Having a ripped cement bag on the bottom of 20, 30 other cement bags, and having to move all those cement bags to replace that one that's on the bottom that's ripped. No one's going to see that, and the customer might not even care, and you could just easily deliver that hoping the customer doesn't care, but they don't. And we move that cement bag and put a new one on there. And that is heartening to see in a big company such as Lowe's, that there's that level of care for the customer, which I didn't expect at such a large company. My biggest fear in life before this happened, apart from something bad happening to anyone in my family, was to have to go work for someone else's company, especially a large company. That is what kept me awake at night. And here I am having to do it. And I've thought about that and meditated on it and prayed on it a lot, thinking if I have any other option. Number one, there pretty much anyone that I could get a better paying job at based on my experience and qualifications and education has a hiring freeze. And quite frankly, I'm not sure I would want to do those jobs. I definitely don't want to go back to financial services, which is where the bulk of my experience is. If I could go work for CrossFit HQ or Rogue or something, that would, because that's in the area that I'm most passionate about business-wise, is fitness and personal development. My goal in life is to provide the best I can for my family and inspire as many people as I can to live better lives. And however I can do that, if people seeing me at 54 starting over in a position that I've never done, in something that I was terrified that I would have to do someday, and doing the best I can at it and still thriving. If I can inspire one person because of that story, then I've accomplished my mission and I'm a success. One thing I've realized, I've done a ton of self-reflection. I'm a pretty self-reflective person in general, but this last few weeks has given me so much opportunity to self-reflect and think about my life and think about my purpose and the purpose of everyone in the universe. And I've come to realize, whether you learn the Stoic philosophy, which I've done a lot during this time. I've pretty much discovered Stoicism and Stoic philosophy during this time because of an email I got, and I started checking it out, and I'm like, oh, this would be good to do every day and learn about during this time, because the philosophy is, how to get through tough times and only worrying about what you can control and being the best person you can be. And Buddhism, Christianity, there's one common denominator, and that is that it doesn't matter, what you've done in your life, how much money you have, how many cars you have, what kind of house you live in, if you were popular or famous, what kind of job you did. At the end of the day, we all die and we're all on the ground. And what matters is if you were the best person you could be, no matter what you were doing. Whether you were a stocking clerk at Lowe's or the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar corporation, if you were inside the best person you can be and at peace with that and knowing that, then you've succeeded. And it doesn't matter what your job is or what you're doing or how much money you have. That's what it's all about, that inner peace of, I'm good, I have enough food, I have a roof over my head, my family's taken care of, I'm healthy, I look out for other people, I try and help other people, I'm good. I've succeeded. I struggle with whether I'm achieving or striving to achieve my ultimate potential, because I always viewed myself as a big successful businessman with a big business. And, it seems like I've taken a step backwards from that and going to work for someone else's big business. And whether I could be doing something better or for more money. I definitely could be doing stuff for more money, maybe not right now because everything's shut down, but when things reopen, should I go try and find something for more money? Anything for more money is going to mean going back to where I was and using my previous experience and working at a desk behind a computer for 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours a day. And I know I don't want to do that. I'm happy to work hard, but I want to do stuff I haven't done before. And I want to meet people that are different from the people that I've already met, the types of people. And I feel honor and satisfaction with having a job where I have to use my hands and my brain. So I've been really struggling with that, whether I'm quitting, I'm giving up. The big struggle is if I spent those 8 hours that I'm spending at Lowe's in the business I'm passionate about, fitness and personal development, would I be successful in that and I could just do what I love all the time? But I've been doing that for 6 years, just about. I'm happy and thankful that hopefully I could literally do a position like the one at Lowe's 8 hours a day and still have that business and be able to do what I love doing, which is helping people live happier, healthier, and more fulfilling lives through fitness, nutrition, and mental toughness coaching. And I've built a team that can do that while I'm not there and while I have the steady income of a large corporation, which makes my wife feel better, which is important to me. But am I selling out? Should I just be going and not quitting? All the motivational things say, never quit, don't have a plan B. And I really struggle with that, and I don't know what the right answer is. But, right now it feels right to have a plan B. to have some a less risky source of income. Everything's risky. I mean, I could get furloughed at Lowe's tomorrow, and if that happened, then I know what the direction I should be going is. But no matter what I do, I will give it my best, whether that's working at Lowe's or whether that's coaching people to live healthier, happier, more fulfilling lives, or whether that's working out, maintaining my physical fitness. I give it my best. And I'll continue to do that, and hopefully the Lord and the universe will help me see what the right direction is. In that vein, one of the other things that I've decided to do during this time is get baptized in the Christian faith. And just a lot of different things. Just like when I discovered CrossFit and sold my financial advisory practice after 20 years, and knew that was the right direction for me because of things that multiple, not just one, but multiple different things pointed that was the direction I should have been going at that time in my life. Multiple things in this challenging time have pointed that I should get baptized because I've never been officially baptized. The official family story is that my grandmother, Babcha, my mom's mom, sprinkled some holy water on my head when she had me, because I spent a lot of time there when I was young or growing up, and she was very religious, very Christian, believed in God and Jesus, and that made me think. And when I was going through practicing interviewing, when I was trying to get a job, when this whole thing happened, when they shut our gym down, and I was going through practicing interview questions because I hadn't interviewed in over 20 years with anyone, except for maybe once or twice, if that. But, I wanted to perform my best if that was what I was going to do. And when I decided to take that leap and commit to try to giving everything I had to trying to find another job that would augment my other businesses. It was April, it was late, we were after winter, and we were having this snow shower with these huge snowflakes. It was very peaceful. It's a different type of snow that you recognize as being different and calming than your average snowfall. And when I made that commitment and felt at peace because I was committing to that and not wrestling with it anymore, and I was going to try and get the best job I could and learn how to interview again, we had that type of snowfall. And I'll tell you why that's significant in a moment. But in going through trying to interview and be the best, answer the interview questions to the best of my ability, most of which are questions about, who you are to the core in your life and how you've dealt with difficult situations and challenges. And one of the questions was, who are your heroes? And, I thought about, movie people that, characters that I would like, to emulate. Denzel Washington in Man on Fire comes to mind. Brad Pitt, Tyler Durden comes to mind. But the only real person that I could label as a hero in my life that wasn't a fictional character or a famous historical character is my grandmother, Babcha. And that's because she was such a strong woman and had gone through so many difficult things in her life, losing 2 children, going through leaving her home in Poland to escape the Russians right before World War II and escaping to Germany, and then being right in the middle of Nazi Germany and getting bombed every night by the Americans, and having to cook toast on a hanger stuck into an electric socket to cook something warm for her kids. And then coming to the United States, having nothing, and not being able to speak the language, that is strength. And that's what I admire. And the number one thing, in addition to wanting to inspire as many people as I can, is that I value is to be someone who is strong and flappable in difficult, stressful situations. That's why I put myself in various stressful situations as much as I can to try and be that person that is the rock when times are tough and when everyone else is panicking. And I'm not there yet by any stretch, but that's what I want. That's the type of person that I want to be. Someone who people know, he's got your back. He's not going to cave. He's not going to quit. No matter how difficult things are, he's not going to complain, and he's just going to keep getting after it and have a positive attitude about it. And that's the type of person I'm always striving to be, and I hope I can someday become. And that's the type of person she was. I asked my mom, about her and, what was she like personally? Because I knew her as someone who was super strong and never, I don't even know if I ever saw her cry. And she had, a husband who was an alcoholic, and she worked, cleaned houses. She just got after it for her family. And she lives on in my memory and is immortal because of that. And I hope I can be the same for my family and our family who's not even born yet. I hope they look and say, remember Grandpa as that guy who was just like a rock and solid. And that's what she was like. And that's what I remember. But my mom, one of the stories my mom said, when they were having to leave on a train to get out of Poland to escape the Russians and had to leave with literally her small family kids and just the clothes on their backs, and her and my grandfather got separated and he almost didn't make it. And I was like, what was she like? Was she freaking out? Was she crying? And my mom said she looked at it as a big adventure, like with a smile on her face, like, at least this isn't boring. And that's what I thrive on too. I hate the same boring shit, a boring life. I'd rather have a hard life that's not boring than a boring life that's easy. And she took that with a smile on her face. So to me, like, that's my hero. And I thought, if she wanted me to be baptized and if she believed in Jesus, who am I to not believe that and to not be all in for that? And before that transformation of doing what for me at this time is one of the hardest things I've ever done, is that's to, go get a regular job, because I think of myself as an entrepreneur, and I've been an entrepreneur and haven't had a boss or had to work for anyone else for 20 years. And that's like, strikes me to the core. But I also realize that, in coaching other people, if I want to be a great coach, I have to go through some shit myself that I don't like, that's uncomfortable, that's outside my comfort zone, because that's what I'm always trying to coach my athletes and my people that I coach to do in their lives. So now I'm experiencing that, and I'm going to live that so that I can then help other people live that. It's easy to say, you should do this, you should do that, you should work out, don't sweat the small stuff, have a positive attitude, be motivated, when you don't have to do hard shit that you don't want to do. It's easy to do the stuff you enjoy doing, even if it's hard. Running a business, starting a business, it's hard, but that's what I love doing. And but working for someone else for me is even harder. So if I can do that and do it well, then I've won. And I mentioned the snowfall, and when I decided to make that switch. Prior to that, about 11 years prior, Leslie, my wife, and I were going through some the most difficult times we had ever gone through in our marriage, which was at that time about 20 years. And now we've thankfully been married over 30 years. And it's from me being a selfish asshole. And I was out hunting, and I had been out hunting previous, and I took a shot with my bow at a deer. It was too long of a shot, and I was sure I hit it, and it ran off, and I couldn't find it, and I couldn't find my arrow, which made me think that my arrow was still stuck in it, and I was bummed out that I'd wounded a deer and took a bad shot. And then I went hunting. I don't know if it was like the next year or later in the season, and I was in my stand, and normally I'm very calm when I'm hunting, and it's one of my safe places, and I was in a stand that I used all the time, but I just felt like I wasn't in the right place, and that I had to move. Like I just felt anxious, and I don't hardly ever feel anxious, even when I'm in very difficult, stressful situations, which is what I pride myself on. But I like couldn't sit still, and I felt like I had to move to a different spot. So I got out of my stand. I went into these woods where I never hunted, and I didn't even have a stand there. And for some reason, I don't know why, I thought I just needed a different place. And I went into these woods and sat there, and it started to snow. That big flake, beautiful, where the snow just like takes forever to float down to the earth, and it was just beautiful and calming. And this calm came over me that's very hard to describe because I was feeling so anxious. But when I moved and it started to snow like this amazing calm came over me. And like, even though we were going through this really bad, stressful situation, something made me feel that it was going to be okay. And that if I just believed that and had faith that we were going to be okay. And now it's 10 years after, and we are okay. And as I was done, I didn't see any deer, but it was just an amazing hunt, an amazing experience. And as I was getting finished with my hunt and coming out of the woods, I stepped right on the arrow that I had shot previously that didn't have any blood on it, was completely intact, and it was a fresh arrow, which made me realize that I didn't hit that deer. I just took a really bad shot. And that made me feel good. So it was just this whole combination of the snow and having to get out of that position, and then that calm, and then the reassurance. And it was just, one of those times I'll never forget, one of those watershed times in your life. And the first day I started at Lowe's was where I was like, I'm going to start this 5 a.m. to 2 p.m. job, working for the man, a huge company, hourly wage. I have a master's degree in finance from a top 10 business school. I have an undergrad in engineering from a top school. And I've prided myself on being an entrepreneur and being able to make it on my own independently of anyone else, which is very important to me, for 20 years. And now I have to go and punch a clock. And that day that I started, that same type of snowfall was in the morning, was happening all day, and it made me feel really calm and made me feel like, for whatever reason, and I don't know the reason, except for it's making me a better person because I have to do shit that I don't like doing. And it's really hard, but it made me realize, because of that snow in those times where I'm at like the most difficult time in my life, made me realize that it was the right way to go. And then I was listening to Phil Robertson, the Duck Commander, the Duck Dynasty show. He's very religious, very Christian. Listening to, for whatever reason, I saw a new book that he had out, and I hadn't heard anything about him in quite some time. And I'm like, oh, I'd be interested to hear what he had to say. And the book is basically about how our country's gone to shit because of getting away from the Christian foundation on which we were founded originally, back when we were founded. If the founding fathers, whether you like it or not, it's unequivocally 100% fact that they were all Christian, and they founded our Constitution, our Declaration of Independence. Many of the things were founded on Christian beliefs and belief in God and Jesus. And obviously we've gotten well away from that. And I find myself really in line with Phil Robertson's thinking and being independent, that we're not part of the government, we're independent, we're part of God. The government is just something that's created, that man created to keep us from getting out of line. And I like that. I like the fact that no one can take away my independence. Not a job, not a boss, not a president, not a dictator, if I'm at peace inside. And that's one thing that draws me to Christianity. Number two, being frugal and not being a drunk. I've struggled with that and not wanted to do that, and had struggles saving money and drinking too much. And I like not wanting to do that. And looking out for your fellow man and realizing that we're all one, we're not individuals, and we should be looking out for each other and trying to help each other. Those are all Phil Robertson's tenets. And the fact that you'll have everlasting life in a better place if you believe in Jesus wholeheartedly. I like that. And how can it hurt? So as soon as we're allowed to go back to church, I've told our pastor, Jeff Crowder, and I'm going to get baptized. So look out. And took some notes here that I wanted to make sure I talked about everything. Yeah. And so that's about it. I hope this helps one person somehow. And I'll continue to try my best, and we'll see where it takes us. Thank you.